Oliver Twist. Part 2. CHP 26-34. Chapter 26. Harry arrives. Chapter 26. Harry and Giles rush to Oliver's aid upon hearing about Fagin and the man. They search the fields around the house but found no trace of them. They circulate a description of Fagin but found no clues to his whereabouts. Harry declares his love to Rose. Although she returns his love, she says she cannot marry him. Harry tells Rose to send letter him every day and tell him everything and left. Chapter 27. The meeting of Monks and Bumble. Chapter 27. In this chapter the narrator tells that Mr. Bumble has married Miss Corney. Mr. Bumble became the master of the workhouse. After a morning of fight with his wife he went outside to a bar to have a cup of beer. A man sitting with him gave him money to get information about old Sally. He tells him that his wife knew more about her, and he'll bring her the following evening. The man gives his name as Monks. Chapter 28. Oliver's history leaked. Chapter 28. During a storm, Mr. and Mrs. Bumble traveled to a sordid section of town near a swollen river to meet Mrs. Monks in a decaying building. While Mr. Bumble shivers in fear, Mrs. Bumble coolly deals with the Monks. They settle on £25 for the information. Mrs. Bumble can now relate that old Sally robbed Oliver's mother because she discovered a ragged pawnbroker's receipt in old Sally's dead bands and she saw a gold locket in it and then she handed it to the Monks. Inside, he finds a wedding ring and a picture of an old lady. The name Agnes is engraved on the ring, along with a blank of surname. Monks ties the locket to a weight and drops into the river, and then went out leaving the couple behind. Chapter 29. Fagin is with Nancy. Chapter 29. In this chapter, Nancy followed Fagin to his lodgings on Elon from Bill Sykes to collect some money which Fagin has promised him. He is just about to take out the money when he heard that Monks were coming in the room. Fagin warns Nancy not to tell him about the money. When Monks arrive, he asks to speak to Fagin alone. The two men leave for the room in the upper story, but Nancy follows them and listens all the conversation. The narrator does not reveal the contents of the conversation. After Monks depart, Fagin gives Nancy the money. Upset by what she has heard, she dashes into streets and away from Sykes' residence before returning to deliver the money. Sykes does not notice her nervousness until a few days later. Sensing something, he demands that she sit by them. Chapter 30. Nancy confesses her criminal life. Chapter 30. In this chapter, Nancy confesses to Rose that she is the one who kidnapped Oliver on his own for Mr. Brownlow. She relates that she overheard Monks tell Fagin that he is Oliver's brother. Monks want Oliver's identity to remain unknown so that Monks himself can claim their family's full inheritance. Monks would kill Oliver if he could do so without endangering himself. He has also promised to pay Fagin if Oliver is recaptured. Rose offers to help Nancy leave her life of crime. Nancy replies that she cannot because she is attached to Sykes despite his abusive ways. She refuses Rose's money. Before leaving, Nancy informs Rose that she can be found on London Bridge between 11 and 12 every Sunday night in case further testimony is needed. Chapter 31. The Reunion. Chapter 31. Not long after Nancy and Rose's meeting, Oliver tells Rose that he saw Mr. Brownlow on the street. Oliver and Mr. Giles had ascertained Brownlow's address, so Rose immediately takes Oliver there. Mr. Grimwig is visiting when they arrive. Rose tells Brownlow that Oliver wants to thank him. Once Rose and Brownlow are alone, she relates Nancy's story. Oliver is brought in to see Brownlow and Mrs. Bedwin. After their happy reunion, Brownlow and Rose relay Nancy's information to Mrs. Maylie and Losburn. Brownlow asks if he can include Grimwig in the matter, and Losburn insists that they include Harry. They agree to keep everything a secret from Oliver and decide to contact Nancy the following Sunday on London Bridge. Chapter 32. Noah and Charlotte. Chapter 32. A couple is on the road to London. The female is carrying a heavy load. The woman is the Salisbury maid Charlotte, and the man is Noah Claypole. Noah, who isn't burdened by weight, criticizes Charlotte for falling behind. She is despondent that thought they can see the lights of London. It is still at least 2 miles away. Charlotte stole the money from Salisbury for Noah. They wind up at the Three Cripples. Barney greets them. He gives them food and then goes to inquire if they can stay. He tells Fagin about their guests. Fagin likes the looks of Noah. He spins their conversation. Noah is telling Charlotte how he means to become a gentleman. He hopes to get in with a group of people who profit from robberies and other shady dealings. Fagin introduces himself. He makes a remark that makes Noah realize that he overheard the conversation. Fagin goes on to say they are lucky it was only him that overheard it. Fagin tells them that they came to the right place. Noah can meet him tomorrow at the Three Cripples. He'll have room and board, free pipes and liquor, and he'll be able to keep half of what he and Charlotte earn. Noah agrees. Fagin suggests being a spy. Noah likes the idea. Fagin then says he could mug children who are doing errands for their mother, and he likes that idea much better. Fagin sets the appointment for tomorrow. Noah introduces himself as Mr. Maurice Bolter, and he claims Charlotte is his wife. Charlotte isn't good at remembering his new name, and he tells Fagin that Noah is a nickname. Fagin says he understands. Chapter 33. The Spying Mission. Chapter 33. Fagin is visiting Sykes when Nancy tries to leave for London Bridge at 11 on Sunday. Sykes drags her into another room and restrains her for an hour. When he departs, Fagin asks that Nancy conduct him downstairs. He whispers to her that he will help her leave the brute Sykes if she wants. Fagin imagines that Nancy has wanted to meet a new lover that night. He hopes to persuade her to murder Sykes and bring her new love into his gang, so he can solidify his control over her. He plans to watch her in order to discover the identity of her new love, hoping to blackmail her with this information. Fagin tells Noah that he will pay him £1 to follow Nancy. The following Sunday, when Sykes is away, he takes Noah to Sykes' residence. At 11, Nancy leaves the apartment. Noah follows at a discreet distance. Chapter 34. At the London Bridge. Chapter 34. Nancy meets Mr. Brownlow and Rose on London Bridge and leads them to a secluded spot. Noah hears Nancy beg them to ensure that none of her associates get into trouble because of her choice to help Oliver. They agree, and Nancy tells them when they will most likely see Monks visiting the public house. They hope to catch Monks and force the truth about Oliver from him. Nancy's description of Monks startles Mr. Brownlow, who appears to know him. Brownlow begs Nancy to accept their help, but she says that she is chained to her life. He and Rose depart. Nancy cries violently and then heads for home. Noah hurries to Fagin's house.